All right, so we're going to add to the same section that we did yesterday. And I kind of started to talk about included angle and well, I did talk about reflexive a little bit. I started to talk about included angle a little too soon. I was thinking vertical angles, but included angles and then this SAS and SSS, those pop up today. And those are like, these two down here are the shortcut ways to show triangles being congruent. There are two others that we will be chatting about tomorrow, but we're going to start with these two just to kind of ease you into it. So first thing that we do need to talk about is this vocab term of included angles. So let me zoom in a little bit here. So included angles are, or it's an angle, because we're talking about one, in between two sides. So like for example, let me grab my pens out again. So if I have this little triangle going on, and if I have my yellow and blue side, the angle that is included between the yellow and blue pen would be this angle right here. The included angle for the pink and blue pen would be this angle right here. And then the included angle for the yellow and the pink would be this angle right here. So the included angle is the angle in between two sides that you're like talking about. Like the two sides in our case that are marked or have markings on them, or the two sides that we've listed as being congruent. So included angle would be any angle that's in between two sides. So if I'm only talking about the yellow and the pink, this would be my included angle. Not this one, it's always going to be the one in between, or the one that also like is it included in the conversation. Included because these two are the sides we're talking about, so we're going to include the angle as well. So that's what included angles are. Hopefully you're loading all my visuals with my pens. So thinking about included angles, we've got to talk about side angle side, and really side doesn't have to do with that, but side angle side. We're actually going to start with side though. If you have a triangle that has three sides from one triangle that are congruent to three sides on the other, then the triangles are congruent by side. So I'm going to draw a little picture of what that would look like. If you have a triangle, or two triangles, maybe I'm going to flip them around. They don't have to look and be flipped around the exact same way, but if you have two triangles that have sides that match up, all three, and are congruent, then these two triangles are congruent by side. And we would be able to write this thing called a congruence statement. I don't have these labeled, so actually we can do that right now. We'll call this A, B, C, and we'll call this D, E, F. So you would say triangle, and if I said triangle A, B, C, would be congruent to triangle. Now this is where you have to be careful. You're going to have to do this a lot today, and you have to match up the angles. Remember how like this angle corresponds to a specific angle over here, or this letter does? You have to be careful. So A is the angle in between the 1 dash and 2 dash, we could say. So which angle is in between the 1 dash and the 2 dash? F. B is right here in between the 2 and the 3. So that would be D, and that leaves us E. So if you have three sides in one that match up and are congruent to three sides in the other, then it's side. And when we get to the examples, you did the hard work yesterday by listing out those sides and angles that are congruent. Now, side angle side is a little different. Side angle side means that you have two sides that are congruent and the included angle. So if I draw this out, to keep it interesting and fun, I'll switch colors for you guys. So if I have, and I'll even flip this one around just to keep it real interesting. If I have two sides, these are definitely not congruent. Pretend like those pictures are a lot better. Two sides that are congruent, two sides and the angle in between. So if these are like my two sides, think about my two pens, the angle that these two pens, or where these two pens come together, would be right here and right here. this is what side angle side looks like. For my visual people, hopefully you see that it goes side, and if I continue along, angle marked, side. Two sides, angle in between, two sides, angle in between. And then you would say that this is what side angle side looks like, and then you would give the same congruence statement as we did in the previous one. So let's take a look at what we did yesterday. And hopefully this helps you to make more sense of why we did this and why I color-coded things. So yesterday we went through and wrote out a ton of what was congruent to what, that kind of thing. Today, all we're gonna do now is take a look and see, is it side, 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 or side angle side? All 5 of these are going to be one of those, which is kind of nice. There is going to come a time when you can't, or when it's not possible, and you're going to see one of those as well here in a second. So if we take a look at A. So for A, I gave you these 2 triangles, and this is what we listed out. So remember, our only 2 options right now are side, side, and side angle side. That's it. So this clearly is not side, side, side because I only have 2 sides and I would need all 3. So it's not side, side, side. So let's check and make sure it's side, angle, side. How we have it written right now, it says side, side, angle. But did we write this angle last on purpose, or did we write it on could we have written the angle in between? And the answer is yes. If you look here and think about your pens, if I laid a pen here and a pen here, they would come together right here, which is my included angle. So this is side, angle, side. And here, same thing. This is side, angle, side. 2 sides and the angle in between. So these 2 triangles are congruent by side, angle, side. And then you're going to need to write your congruence statement. So triangle, let's go T, or let's go RST. We'll do at least alphabetical for the first one. Is congruent to triangle. If I go from R to S to T, I have to go X, Y, Z. Order is where it's going to mess you up, if anywhere. So that's what you're doing today. Is it congruent? Yes, no, why not? Side, 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 side. Maybe it's no. And then you're writing your congruent statement. I'm going to show you maybe one more. And then I want to show you a couple where they're not. So here for B, remember our only options are side, 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 and side, angle, side. For B, we have side, side, side. Makes it pretty darn easy, huh? So these 2 triangles, and if you look at the pictures, all 3 sides marked, all 3 sides marked. So these triangles are congruent by, whoops, side, side, side. I got excited, wanted to draw an A there, side, side, side. And now you need to write your congruent statement. So triangle, let's go alphabetical, ABC is congruent to triangle. A to B to C would actually be D, E, F. Makes it easy for you. Hardest part's going to be matching them up. So that's basically what the rest of this side would be, and they would all end up being congruent. But let's take a look at a couple more examples. So for this one, it says determine congruent triangles. They want to know, are these triangles, it's kind of asking it in a weird way, but are these triangles congruent by side, angle, side, or side, side, side? So now we can't actually write out what we have. So now we're just going to have to really rely on the pictures. So I don't know why these letters are all messed up. So if we take a look at, that's kind of cracking me up. If you take a look at this first letter D here, you are given 2 triangles, and each, like this side matches up here, this side matches up here, and this side matches up here. So since 3 sides match up with 3 sides, these 2 triangles would be congruent by side, side, side. And that's all you would have to do. That's all that one really you can do, because you can't give a congruent statement because there's no letters. Let's take a look at this C. We'll just go backwards here. So for C, remember, these are the only 2 options that we have. I don't have 3 sides marked. I don't have this 3rd side marked, so it can't be side, side, side. So let's check and see if it can be side, angle, side. And you have to be careful with side, angle, side, because it has to be the included angle on both of them. So we have side, side, angle in between. And then we have side, side, angle in between, or angle, the angle that's marked would be the one where your two pens come together. So this is side angle side, this is side angle side, so the triangles are congruent by side angle side. Let's take a look at B. Here we have side, that matches up with that side, side, and we do have an angle. Now we have to ask ourselves, is that the angle in between? So if I grab out my pens again, let's see, we have side, side, and then it's this random angle. And there's not even an angle there. It's side, side, and it would have to be the angle in between. It's not the angle in between. It's this angle that's being, this side isn't being included in here. So it's side, side, and then not really, I mean, it's marked, but it doesn't help us out when we're trying to do side angle side. Side angle side has to be two sides and the angle in between. Like the third side kind of was worthless to us. So this is actually not possible, or not congruent, or not possible, something like that would work. Not possible, something like that. Because it's not one of these two. And then for A, we have a side, we have a side, and we do have an angle marked. So is this angle, if I were to like think about my pens, like the pens would be where they come together, the pens would be where they come together, so this would be side angle side. So if you get confused on these, grab some pens out, grab different colors. Maybe in this case, like the 1 dash is yellow and the 2 dashes is blue, or whatever, and try to, you know, see that that matches up perfectly with the angle in between, the angle where they're touching, and then check it here. That works as well. So that's why it's side angle side. I've never actually taught it that way, and I think it actually makes more sense to really think of it like that. So let's see how this goes. So your assignment today is kind of short. You are going to be kind of doing what we did here. If they are congruent, like you would do in A, C, and D, you are going to have to write a congruence statement, but your congruent statement is just going to be filling in the blanks, because want to make sure that you get the order down in like alphabetical order, and the order that the sides and angles match up. So good luck, and I'm available if you have any questions.